Hello, everybody. It's the old bear with the old bear's den of Bigfoot. And tonight we got uh, Wayne and Jasper from Mannimal Research tonight. As always, we'll have a question part of the show. And so when that happens, please put your questions in capital letters, all caps, guys. So we can so I won't miss the questions. I am over 50. My eyes ain't the best in the world, and I'm not the fastest one in the world. But let's bring these guys on, and we'll get their stories, how they got into bigfooting, and we'll go from there. And I hope each and every one of you enjoy this. And oh, on a personal note, I want to let you all know that we have been unquarantined as of today. That means we can go back out into the world and do what is necessary to survive. And we will most assuredly, we're past the infectious stages of this disease. And the best thing is all you guys get to know that I'm still alive. I haven't done anything to jeopardize anyone else, and I would never do that. And I'm glad that each and every one of you came on tonight, and we love all of you. And thank you for so very much for the prayers and the well wishes and the condolences for my dad. Thank you very much, and we love you all. So let's get these guys in here. It's kind of a toss up which one we want to bring first. Well, we'll just go from, well, we'll just go with it. You guys get ready. Here we go. Hey, guys.
What up?
How's it going, old bear?
Oh, it's going, buddy. The best thing is we're no longer quarantined. That's the best part.
That is good news.
So, guys, I want to ask you this question. Each of you, I want to get an answer from both of you. What got y'all, each one of you, into Bigfooting? What caused y'all to get into Bigfooting? Let's now I'm not going to do this in any certain order. Let's pick on Jasper. You're first, bud.
Well, mine was basically, I mean, I believed in it, kind of believed in it before everything, and then which it came confirmed more when I had my encounter with my boys, with the one that supposedly came in the camp and sat on our tent. So from there on, I mean, I knew it was there. I knew something was there. I believe it's there. I believe they're real. And just as of, you got a giant squids that nobody knew about until they caught them. And now they got giant squids. So, I mean, I believe it's there. I've seen there's too much evidence and things that we've went through. It's piqued me more knowing, yeah, they're out there. There's something out there in the woods. That's pretty much, I mean, that's really what got into it. I mean, in driving a truck, I mean, I've seen some strange stuff and everything, but like I said, that's pretty much what got me. I mean, I was in it. I just never really wanted to come out, with like anybody else. They're all scared to come out, so I kept my mouth shut.
Okay. So, Wayne, your turn.
All right. Yeah. My response is probably going to be a little bit longer, but I'm sure it's okay. Um, I like Walls, like yourself, Obear. Been lifelong interested in the subject, not only in Bigfoot, but other cryptids as well. As a kid, I found myself anytime a TV show, documentary, or something was on TV about a cryptid, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, chupacabra, Mothman. No, I found myself glued, to the TV, just trying to learn as much as I could. Anytime I'd go to the library in school, I'd try to find a new book, usually on Bigfoot, if I could. But actually, with me and how we got started with Mannimal was a couple of years ago. I had some issues with my car, and I had to borrow my dad's truck for a couple of weeks while my car was being repaired. And while I was in Dad's truck, his radio went out, and I had an hour drive back and forth to work every day. So I discovered podcasts real quick, and I discovered a podcast dedicated to cryptids, paranormal stuff like that. And I found myself wishing that they would hurry up and finish their stories and get to more Bigfoot stories, because I just couldn't get enough
Mm-hmm.
of them. And so I got to looking, and I found a podcast dedicated strictly to Bigfoot. I'm sure about everybody out there knows what I'm talking about, Sasquatch Chronicles. So I got to listening to Wes, and I binged all of his episodes, all 600 and something of them, and got to thinking, this seems cool. Why can't I do something like this? Talk to my beautiful and talented, lovely fiance, Miss Jordan, smart man right here. I talked to her, and she told me that she said, "You know what? You're passionate about it. We live in a great part of the country, and you already have a lot of the equipment that's needed. There's no reason for you not to give it a try." And from there, Manimal was born. What I did was I don't know if we lost Walls there or what. There he is.
No,
What
we
I
got him.
what I did was I put an ad on Craigslist to kind of gauge, interest in my area, surrounding areas to see, if there's anybody out there that might want to, go in with me and start getting out in the woods and looking for these things. And I was really surprised at the response that I got. Um, yeah, a lot more than I expected. People, not just people that were interested, but people that wanted to share, what they've seen, what they've, experienced throughout their life. So I thought, yeah, we might have something here. So what I did was one of the very first people I contacted was my buddy Walls here, Jasper. Jasper and I worked together a couple years before and became pretty good friends. So I texted him one day, and I said, "Hey, is Bigfoot real?" And that's all I said. I hadn't talked to him in a few weeks, probably a month or so. And I just texted him. I said, "Hey, is Bigfoot real?" And he responded something like, "Yeah, he's real. Let's go get him," or something like that. So I knew right then that my buddy Walls was in. So yeah, from there, Manimal was born, and that's what we've been doing now for going on 2 years.
Well, we're going to ask you a question, and I want your honest opinion on this. Um, Now I know you guys go out squatching and everything, and you go out looking for them, and y'all found quite a bit of evidence, and you've had trees pushed over. Can you tell me, each of you, what has been the most scariest encounter you've had with a Bigfoot?
You
You
go
want to
over
go
that.
ahead,
Who
buddy?
wants to tackle this one?
I'd say you go over that one because I think you've had the most scariest one, really.
Man, there's been a couple. There's
Okay,
been a
Wayne.
couple. The one I'm thinking about
What has
probably
scared you
was
the most?
What's that, buddy?
Which one of the? I know you had a couple, but which one scared you the most?
I would say probably the one in Bartow County, Georgia. Walls wasn't there on that trip. He had to miss it, but there's a couple of our other members were there. There was 4 of us, and man, I had this off feeling all night long, like something just wasn't right. You know, it was like the 5th, 6th, 7th expedition we had been on, so it wasn't new to us, and it was like the 3rd or 4th time we've been to this location, so I was familiar with the location. This trip just felt different, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but I didn't want to go on our night hike that night. I just didn't want to. So one of our old members had his 13-year-old grandson with us, so I stayed back at the camp with him, and 2 of our other members went out for the night hike. And they weren't gone 10 minutes before I heard the most disturbing thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I think I told you about this, old bear, when you were down before. But it was this sound. It was a combination laugh and bark is the best way that I can put it. It sounded like a hyena, kind of. And this thing went off about a dozen times, 12, 13 times in about a 2-minute span. And it's the only time out in the woods that I pulled my sidearm off of my hip. And I had it in my hand, and I had it chambered, and I had it ready because I was scared. I got on the radio. I hollered at our other 2. I said, "Did y'all hear that?" And said, "Yeah, we heard it." And I said, "Y'all need to get back here now." So they said, "Yeah, we're already on our way." So they were already heading back, and this thing just kept going off, and it was close. It was not far. I had the, I had my gun in my hand and everything, but I can speak to, one of the big questions people get asked that do this is, why haven't there been any pictures? Why didn't you take your camera out? Why didn't you take a picture? I can attest to this. I was so frightened that in the 2 minutes that this thing was going off, the thought of pulling my phone out never occurred to me. Not one time. The thought of going to my bag and getting out any kind of audio equipment never occurred to me. The only thing I was thinking about was, what am I going to do if something starts running at me and this 13-year-old boy right beside me? That's all I could think about. So that would be it for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
So let me ask you real quick there, Wayne. How far away was this sound that this creature was producing? 50 yards, 100 yards?
I'd say less than 100. Yeah, less than 100 yards.
That's too close for one adult and an eligible teenager. That is scary.
Yeah.
Very scary.
Now, if anybody wants to hear what it sounds like, I'm sure most people out here are familiar with Tinker Thunker. He actually has one of his videos that he released. It was the one where the sound was heard on the reservation, the Indian reservation, I believe. The video, the gentleman holding his phone up to his face and talking while this thing is going off in the background, and he's recording it. I forget the name, the title of that particular video, but it's that sound that is being played in the background is what we heard that night. Maybe I can find it later and I can share it with you guys so your audience can go and listen to it themselves, but that's what I heard.
Okay, well, just stick it up on your channel if you can find it, and we'll direct everybody right to your guys' channel to listen to it.
Okay.
All right, Jasper, it's your turn.
I would have to say And with actually explaining this, you got to have an open mind. I'd have to put it off as our last camp out because most of the time we've been out. I mean, I did have one when we first went out and got to camp. I remember hearing something in my left ear saying, "Hey" to me, and there's a huge lake right there beside me next to the fire. But when our last camp thing, after you had you left and had to go back to your own town, we got back to the camp and we started hearing, we heard the other trees fall. We had everything, like something was coming throwing off from the cliff. I actually heard something behind me. And if you remember where we was at, across there, there's that little wood area where you parked the truck. I could have sworn I heard two footsteps slide across the gravel, and I thought it was Dave. And when I said, "Dave, where you at?" He comes from my right side, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, that wasn't you behind me?" No, and which Janice was there, and Holly was there, so Holly had heard the same thing. That would probably, and then us getting, me and Wayne actually, they took off after the tree, looking at, trying to see what the tree looked like that fell across the road. So me and Wayne, we was walking, going down that way and then walking back, we heard more stuff. And we're like, okay, what in the heck? Well, then something was telling us, I don't know if it was telling us through our minds and using our feelings. Like I'm shaking right now just even thinking about this again. Because it was that crazy. Because I remember him looking at me and going, "Look, what do you want? What you want to do?" I said, "Well, there's a hotel down the road. We'll come back in the morning and get our crap." And he's like, "Well, just roll it up." Well, at that time, I was like, we heard something again. I was like, you know what? I'm not even feeling safe. And I'm usually the one that's more prone and more, I wouldn't say, I'm not saying Wayne's not brave, but I'm the one who usually is going to stand my ground. And this time, and he can vouch for it, I was like, you know what? Let's get everything. Let's go get my car. Let's go. Roll it up, throw it in the car. Let's get out of here. And then after we leave the area and we get halfway down the road and we've separated, he's going home, I'm going home. I get angry and I'm mad because I'm like, okay, I've stood my ground in other places that should have scared the hell out of me, and we leave. And it's bothered me ever since that I'm like, I want to go back. I want to go confront. And you even know this. I was like, I want to go confront this thing. I wanted it just to try to scare me away. At this something that night really got me. And after that, I had issues going on with it, spiritual and things, and trying to figure out what happened that night, why we took off. It's just everything's been like back and forth. Like, dude, you could have stood your ground. It was probably nothing. You got that side going, dude, this is fake. This is not. This other side, dude, what in the hell? That was real. You can't fake that. It's the whole motion. That would be as of right now, on my list, that would be the time I've ever been that scared and worried for everybody. But
well, let me say this to you, Jack. First thing, bud, that night, and I've talked to Wayne about this. The very first night when we went up there and we went up in that big hollow over there, and we were hearing stuff walking around the mountain. We got a few responses. I'm thinking that they followed because my truck is louder. It has that louder exhaust on it. I'm thinking they followed us back over to your guys' camp. And that kind of worried me a little bit when we went back to the motel because I mentioned it to my wife. But then, we went down there Saturday night to where we were going to do the interview and all that. And, we got a phone call and we had to come home. And about midnight, I had to pull off the road because I was getting very tired. And as soon as I pulled off the road, I kind of felt like I need to go back. I need to get back there to help you guys out. Just something in me told me I need to come back down there to where y'all's camp was at. I don't know what it was. Lord above telling me I need to go back to help you guys out because something was going on. But I just felt like I should turn around and drive as hard and as fast as I could to get back to you guys.
Yeah.
But here is the thing that I want to tell you. That night when y'all were hearing that stuff and the stuff was going on around y'all's camp, I believe that one of them Bigfoot, or maybe two of them, or three, followed us back to y'all's camp and were agitated because we were over there where we were at and making calls. And, my wife did a whoop and I could hear a faint whoop coming from up on the mountainside, passenger side of my truck. My truck was pointed up the hill. I don't think they liked us being there. And I think they were using what everybody calls infrasound. They got down there close enough to you guys and used infrasound on you, which made you have those feelings like you needed to leave. They wanted you guys gone. Everybody that was, there in those two sites, they wanted y'all gone. They didn't want you there. And it's not so much that because who was there, it's just they weren't happy that we were there. That's all it was. I don't think it was a personal attack on either one of you guys or Janice or Dave or anybody that was there. I think it was because we went into their area where they were using to hunt and we may have screwed up their hunt and they were just upset about it. Does that help you understand a little bit more?
It does. I can actually logically, put it in my head and go, okay, that's possible. That is true. That is there. We did find a snake that night in the middle of nowhere. We were tracking somehow. We were tracking a mama bear somewhere there, so we know there was something there. And which I also, because Janice actually was reached out to me afterwards and talked to me several times, and I've asked questions, and I've checked in with Tanya, my friends over there, and what's going on. Everything's still good over there. Everything's peaceful, and I'm like, and then I was also talking about Dog Man, and I'm like, it's a big range mountain there. She had apparently we were told that the reports were that they were possible pups with these Bigfoots over there. And I'm like, I also put that in stipulation going, okay, maybe the Bigfoots are there if they did follow us, if it was from over there, from the friend's house area and came to us, maybe they were trying. I'm thinking my logic was they knew Dog Man might attract us. or possibly, whether you believe it or not. I mean, it's something I didn't at first believe until it came around to a lot of stories like, hey, it looks like a dog man, it looks like a giant coyote, and then it's all come in. So I'm thinking maybe they were trying that we maybe stumbled on them and made them mad. And as you saying, the Bigfoot was using their thing to tell me, hey, you need to go. We're trying to we're doing the tree drops. We're protecting you. We're warning you. Because I think that's what it is. I think Bigfoot is there for the humans. That's why humans are not really in contact with them. I think they're protecting them. I think they're protecting us. Because if you got something dangerous enough, you got enough hunters and campers with a dog man that has razor teeth, looks like a wolf, and everything else, why wouldn't they be there to protect? I mean, they're supposed to be superhuman, right?
Right.
Yeah, you do have some rogue ones that's been kicked out, but I mean, I guess I'd be, pardon my friend, be pissed off too if I got kicked out of the clan too and be by myself, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna rage hell. So I went both ways on that. And the other thing that raises my everything about it is how many people were there. Not just we were the only ones doing the research. All these other strange, innocent people around here. We've been in other places that's out in the middle of nowhere, and we get some activity like Wayne's, sensing it our first time, and then all of a sudden, we get that, and everything like it just explodes. And I mean, that's just, I mean, I don't know how more you can explain it. It's just that's just me. I mean, I want to go back to where Wayne heard that the laugh thing, because I was there. I remember hearing something say, "Hey, we got the footprint. I think we got a handprint, didn't we? One time over there." I want to go back, and after this encounter stuff, I'm more prone to like, dude, I don't care what it takes. We're gonna figure out what was there. I want to know. And I mean, I was prepared to lay my life down for Wayne or whoever there. Like, that's how I am. And I'm sure Wayne would do the same. That's just me. I mean, I was like, okay, but something was making you move, making both of us move and go get the hell out. That's what's crazy.
Right.
Something bad was there. I mean,
well, let me say this. Coming spring, if you guys are up for it, we'll come back down and go right back in there.
Hell yeah! Pardon me. Hell yeah! I'm up for it.
We'll bring a camper, and we'll stay right there with you guys.
All right.
And we'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah,
because
now
it doesn't bother me to push.
Obviously, a lot of the stuff that Walls was hitting on there is speculation on our part. We didn't see anything. We can't guarantee anything, especially the dog man, all of the other stuff. But there are some things that happened that night, especially that last night when we all packed up and left, that we had never done before, that was new to us, that we haven't talked a lot about. And a lot of those was paranormal. I wasn't involved because I'm not crazy about that side of it. But Walls and Janice and Janice's daughter were playing with a spirit box and getting some words to come back to them, and they were freaking themselves out. I thought. I mean, that I even asked Walls. I mean, I said, Walls, man, you need to stop this stuff. You're freaking these people out. We're here looking for Bigfoot. Let's not scare ourselves to death. Thinking that we got a ghost over our shoulder. But I guess they were
Right.
interested. They were having fun, so they kept doing it, and it got to a point where the weird stuff started happening, and that's what I can't explain.
And we both. He's asked me about it,
Well,
and it's on my phone. I've had it for a long time because I have went ghost hunting. I have done it. I have the battlefield down here. I've done it. Got stuff. That's also where I got a huge scream a couple years ago. And I'm talking about a scream. I'm talking about a woman being strangled. Scream, right? Maybe 50 yards away from in the woods. You couldn't. And when it's dark out there, you can't see. And there's plenty of food out there. There's a ton of deer. And as I show Wayne our little spots and these sightings that we've been to, the places that we've been to, there's actually you can actually do it on the map and make a angle or a diamond pattern in these areas and going, okay, you connect the dots. I mean, you're like, okay, we've got something here. I mean, and you can't hunt in the battlefield. It's federal grounds. You cannot hunt in there. So there's bukus of deer.
Right.
There's people that live out there, and I mean, I'm sure they've heard some. And them coming forward, that might be hard to do because they do live out there.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I've tampered into the paranormal area. I've done that, and I've also experienced it personally. Back in 2015, I did. So, yeah, we was doing that, and it was coming up with the things and the words, and I'm like, okay, you gotta kind of figure out what it's trying to say with the voice box, and it came out with some crazy things, and then it just the rest of it's history, pretty much. We turned it off, and we were still getting stuff afterwards. So, I mean,
yeah, I mean it's strange because I'll admit I was to the point where I was getting upset, because I could see the just the temperament of just the whole atmosphere of the group starting to change a little bit. We go from having a good time talking about Bigfoot, sharing encounters, to genuinely scared. So it bothered me. I mean, I wasn't scared. I didn't think there was anything to this stuff. It didn't bother me at all. And I asked Walls, put it up, man. Put it up. This is not what we're here for. But, they didn't want to. So I'll admit, I got to the point where I got upset and I'm going to bed. Y'all do this if you want, but I'm going to bed. I went into the tent, started to get ready, came back out, to relieve myself before going to bed. And that's when it all happened. I was behind the tent. Sounded like I heard someone walk up on me from behind the tent, and it scared me. Turned around, no one was there, so I walked out, walked around, got the flashlight, was shining around, and then not long after that was when the tree was pushed over across the highway. And so that's why I kind of tie it all to that. What did it have something to do with it? Was it all just a coincidence? I don't know, but that was certainly the craziest expedition that we as a group in Mannimal have ever been on. I think Walls would agree with that.
Oh yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question, both of you. I want your honest opinion on this. Do you think it was because I was there, or do you think it could have been because maybe Janice was there, or it was just something that happened?
That's a really, really good question. I know you're a man of God, Bear. I didn't know that originally, but I know that now. You're a man of God. You're an ordained minister, I believe.
Yes.
Janice has abilities. We're actually gonna have. I'm gonna give our show a little plug. Monday night, this coming Monday night on Mannimal Research, we have Janice that's going to be on. We're having our 50th anniversary or our 50th episode special. And Janice, yeah, yeah. Janice is going to be our guest, so we'll get to ask her a whole bunch of stuff. If you guys want to come over and check it out, we'll talk more about this night. But if you know who Janice Carter is, and if you're a Bigfoot, loyalist, if you follow Bigfoot, you probably know a little bit about Janice Carter. She was there on this expedition, but she's going to be our guest this coming Monday night, and she has abilities. I've never known what to make of that kind of thing. A lot of people will call it woo, the woo side of Bigfoot. I've always been more biological. I think Walls kind of floats in the middle there. But as a group, Mannimal Research, we have guided ourselves, or have pushed ourselves more toward the biological side of Bigfoot, to where we believe it's a flesh and blood creature. It eats, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It bleeds, obviously. I mean, they can die. It's a biological creature. A lot of people go toward the woo side, and if the word woo offends people, I'm sorry. It's not meant in any offensive way by me, certainly. It's just the word that people use, and I'm sorry if it offends anybody. But Janice is more toward that side of it. She told me something that night that she shouldn't have known. Just in a way to prove herself to me that she does have these kind of abilities. And she showed me something. She told me something that night that she shouldn't have known. So it kind of opened my eyes a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, to get back to your question, Old Bear, it could have been that you both were there. I don't know.
That's true. How you feel, Jasper, about
it? I was with trying to think of all the other stuff we've been through, because we've been through, and I think 4 of our spots. We have a cemetery near us. One is Bartow, and that's right next to where we camp. I mean, it's right there. And we didn't have anything crazy paranormal act like that. And I did see somebody say something about Sasquatch and paranormal. As Bigfoot paranormal, I don't think Bigfoot's paranormal. I believe it's a creature. I believe it's real. Just like giant squids, chupacabra. I believe in the chupacabra. There's been a police cruiser follow one. I mean, it's hard to not downgrade a police car's video. I think somewhere. I think some Bigfoot's real, and I believe the paranormal's real too. I'm just going to put it out there. I believe it's there, just from past experience. For that night, I don't know. It could have been. I'm thinking I'm going to put all of us together in that, because Wayne's had similar experiences that I had back in the days with a death in the family, and you have that negativity somewhere in our spiritual body. You have Janice that has her, and she did the same thing with me later on. I mean, Wayne talked to me. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool that she said that, because I didn't know nothing about it. And hell, we're closer than him and Janet. And it blew my mind. And she come up later and asked me. It was actually after that weekend. She reached out to me. I think it was all of us together. I think it was just would be like a huge ball ready to pop, and it was just filled with it. You had I guess you'd say you had your good and you had your good and bad, and boom, you had an explosion. So I'd have to go with that. That's how I feel kind of about it. I mean, Because I mean, I experienced my past with you, Bear, after y'all was talking about stuff. So, I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to put it on the show, but I mean,
right. Now, let me ask you a question, Jasper. And if you don't want to answer, don't answer.
okay.
This is something about that Janice said something to you and said something. She said something about Wayne that you shouldn't have known.
Yeah.
Did she tell you something that you shouldn't have known? Personally.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah. Huge.
Okay.
Huge thing. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to, guys. I'm not trying to say that she can tell things about everybody or anything of that nature. And I'm not gonna step on that side of it because that deals with things that I've had to do as a minister of God, and that's not what this show's about. This is about Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to ask Wayne. I'm going to ask you a question. The question is, Wayne, did she tell you something about me that I may have or may not have confirmed?
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
she did.
you,
And probably don't want to talk about that here, but she did make a statement about you, and
mhm.
then you and I spoke on the phone a few days after we got back from our trip, and I asked you to confirm, and she was right.
Okay. Now, guys, what I want to do is I want to give the viewers a chance to ask you guys some questions based on what we've discussed. And the reason I did this, the reason we did this show tonight was to kind of lead into what you guys are going to be having on Monday night. And I knew that we would end up talking about what happened in Tennessee, and I knew we would discuss the issues about those 2 nights. But I want to give the viewers a chance to ask you questions. So if you, ladies and gentlemen, want to ask a question, put it all in capital letters and feel free to ask your questions. I'll get to them as best I can. Uh, I don't want to keep these guys, away from their families real long on a Friday night because both of them have families. They got family things to do. So please ask questions now. Now, Wayne, while Linda has a question, and
That's going to be that's going to be
8:30.
9 p.m. East. Or actually, I'm sorry. We are going to be going live at 8:30 Monday night, 8:30 Eastern time, Monday night. This coming Monday, the 9th.
Okay. Now the Squatching Cowboy has a question. I hope you guys understand what he's asking. He's talking of what he's talking about is this spring.
Oh yeah.
He would like to join us.
What's up, Joe?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome. Come along, buddy. Be happy to have you.
So, yeah, you had another one there, Jason. Bear, I think it's Jason. I'm gonna mess the name up. McCann. He had a question.
Yeah, I saw him. Here we go.
That's a good question too. I like that question. Have you found evidence of?
What do you?
Evidence of caching.
What is caching?
Caching means like how we as human beings go out and shoot deer and we put them in the freezer. That's what
Oh yeah,
what he
okay,
means by
okay.
catch.
I not. I'd have to say no as of right now. No, I mean I haven't seen any. I mean, you know what? We did try that trail up in that one area up in where we got our trail camera. Remember we tracked that deer tail. I was tracking it, and it was either it. We did find some scat, but it was basically it was bobcat scat, very big scat. But yeah, we did trail some deer, and it disappears. So I don't
No, I
think.
mean, to answer that question, no. I mean, to my
Yeah,
knowledge,
yeah. I
no.
mean, that'd be the only thing closest to it.
Yeah, I would say that they hunt and they eat what they catch right then. Like most other animals would do. Yeah, that would be my guess.
Do you guys go through? Yeah, we do. We've actually been in the winter freezing our butts off.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's actually when we got our audio, the one that stole our
Well,
chip.
we
Yep.
got our audio. Yeah, we'll tell that story real quick. You want me to tell it, Walls?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Very, very cold. It was this past December, I believe, December of last year. Walls and I went up to one of our very, very hot spots up in North Georgia, up on the mountain. A lot of stuff was going on. There was a hiker went missing up there. There's ambulances flying around, stuff like that. We didn't think anything was going to happen that night. So we turned in early, and I left my voice recorder out that night, and I left it under a bag of chips. About 20 minutes after we fell asleep, after you heard us stop talking on the recorder, we hear what sounds like something walking into our camp, picking up those chips, helping themselves to a bag of chips, and then what sounds like dropping something, and then you hear what sounds like two tiny feet running away, and then you hear two big feet walking away slowly, and we're asleep during this whole thing, had no idea what was going on. And yeah, it was in the teens that night. And a month later, we go back to the exact same spot, and that's where we have the only images that we have of Bigfoot. We took some thermal images, and it was around 10 degrees that night. It was brutal. So yeah, we do go out in the cold, and we have luck in the cold.
The next
We
question
do the
there.
same here.
I'd have to disagree on some of that, because we've had experience with the military already that basically kept us from doing the research. So I know they obviously know something. But being 2000, I would say there's probably more than that. I believe there's more than that. We just ain't. They're in these. I think they hang out in the reservations, basically. I think they stay up in there where you can't hardly hunt, and you can only hunt certain times, and they know when it's hunting time. That's when they disappear. So I'd have to say disagree on that, but yeah.
I heard a theory
Wayne?
I heard a theory one time, and I think Grover, the late Grover Krantz, gave his opinion that, and I don't know where he come up with these numbers, but I think it could be a pretty good estimate. He believed that for every 100 black bear in North America, for every 100 black bear, you have one Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And I think that could be reasonable.
Yeah.
That could be a pretty good estimate. Now, if you think that, if you buy into that theory, how often do you see bear when you go in the woods? It's not all that often. I think I've seen a couple in my life. So for every 100 bear, there's one Bigfoot. that's why these things are so elusive. That's why you don't see them that often.
And that also helps that question when they say, "Why ain't you found a body?" I ain't ever seen a bear body except for a hunter getting it. So I mean, the military program, I have never heard anything about that. Have you heard anything like that? Military programs eliminating Bigfoots?
Yeah,
I've heard speculation about like rogue Bigfoots being in the area. They'll send the military in. You know, like the I believe it's the Dennis Martin case. I believe his name was Dennis Martin, a little boy up in the Smoky Mountains back in the '60s that disappeared. You know, in broad daylight. I think he was 7 years old. His brother, another little boy, his dad, his grandpa, and another man were all in the same area, and this boy disappeared from right there. And it's a really, really famous case. It's heartbreaking. I think it's Dennis.
They sent the Green Berets in on that.
The Green Beret. That's what I was getting at. The Green Beret came in and didn't communicate with other law enforcements. You know, they just came in for a few nights, did their thing, and they left. And everybody thinks they came in there and they killed him a Bigfoot, the one that took that boy.
Well, that's who messed up our one research was Green Berets.
I thought it was the Rangers.
It might have been the Rangers. Close enough.
I'm going to try and tackle this question from what I know. And first off, the BFRO organization, while they do a lot of so-called investigating, they only report sightings of Bigfoot that are docile. You know, something where no one's got a chance of being harmed and stuff like that. And the reports that they take of Bigfoot that are aggressive, they file 13 and shred them. They don't keep them. So if they say there's only 2,000 Bigfoot in North America, my personal opinion, times that by 500, you'll probably get closer number than the amount of Bigfoot that are in the lower 48. Not including North America, not including Canada. I'm just saying the lower 48. There's probably closer to 1 million in the lower 48 alone. And the reason I say that is because across the United States, there are woodlands that nobody ever goes into, and if they do, Bigfoot are smart enough to hide from you. They're not going to stand around and stand right in the middle of a deer trail as you walk up that deer trail deer hunting. They're not dumb. They know you're out there and you have a rifle, and they know that guns can hurt. So if you want to know the amount of Bigfoot in the U.S., take whatever the BFRO gives you and what other organizations give you. And yeah, some of them are going to be the same stories, but if you add all the stories up from 1 year, there's usually around 1,000 sightings a year. It takes a lot of Bigfoot to make 1,000 sightings. We're not everywhere in the woods. We're always near trails, trailheads. You know, we don't go 10, 12, 13, 14 miles back out into a national forest, you know, to the deep center of it. Because you think about it, you got west, you got millions upon millions of acres that are public land. You come here in the east, from here in Charleston, West Virginia, near where I live. It's 10 miles to Charleston. Between here and Charleston, West Virginia, there's nothing but woodlines, wooded ridges, and they're not just wooded down part way down the mountainside. They're wooded all the way down to the road where people live.
Mm-hmm.
And think of how many haulers there are in between here and there. There's countless places I can go, walk out my back door, and I can kill a deer in my own yard. And here's the thing when it comes to seeing a bear, guys, I bear hunt. We use hounds to bear hunt. I see 30 to 40 bear a year in bear season, in December alone. That doesn't include all the training and stuff that my brother and me go out and do with his hounds. I might see 60, 70 bear a year, but I have yet to find a bear carcass in the woods. And this state has quite a few bears. So finding a Bigfoot carcass is almost an impossibility. And it's been speculated that they bury their dead or they do something with their dead. And as long as they are a thinking animal, then you're not going to find one. They do their own burials just like we do.
That's true. I seen a question from Jason again. I think it was Jason Cannon. It said, "What's your Wayne? You probably have seen this video. I haven't seen it yet. Old Bear probably has too. What is your opinion of the video footage from Todd Standing?"
I don't know.
Wayne,
I try to be nice. I try to be nice. I don't think that the pictures, the stills that Todd Standing releases, I don't think they're real. I'll just leave it at that.
I don't have to be nice. But go ahead, Jasper. You got something to say about it. Go right ahead.
I haven't seen it.
I'm sure you've seen it. It's just you just didn't associate it with the name.
I might not have. That's possible. True. I can't really answer it because I'd had to pull it up and actually look at it again if I've seen it. But
the man charges $3,000 to $5,000 a piece to take you out to on his expeditions. Man, wow. He's making a lot of money. I don't know. Go ahead, Bear. What's your opinion on Todd Standing?
Todd Standing needs to be taken out and horsewhipped for what he did to the Bigfoot community. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to say it right now. Todd Standing used to actually do research on Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Then he found that he can make money on this. As far as I care about Todd Standing, I classify him as just like Matt Moneymaker. They're in it for money, solely for money and prestige, and that's it.
Oh, I just looked it up.
What do you think about those pictures, Wolf?
You want an honest opinion?
They look an awful lot like him.
Yes.
I'll be nice too then. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. I'll be nice too. Oh, I seen our boy Daryl was on here. He asked a question. He actually commented about Standing too. He's full of crap.
Yeah.
It was one way back. It said something about, I believe it, if I remember, it was something about capturing, or why we on that, something about why we not capture one, or don't think we'd not capture one, or something around that question. Which my philosophy is, I think one has been captured, and I think this goes back to the government knowing about them, because Oregon, even Georgia has it, Washington, that's the main, a lot of main areas for Bigfoot, all have a law protecting that of a Sasquatch. You have to have some type of evidence to put in legislation to send a law, to make a law. You got to have something saying, hey, this is what we need to make a law. It's endangered species or something. That's my theory. I mean, anybody else could have a different theory, but that is mine on that. It's like, if there's a law, obviously something has been caught. Something has been, the government knows it. And you have guys, well, we have somebody, I'm not going to mention the name, but some that have gag orders from the government. Why they want to gag somebody if they don't know, if they don't have one, or if they didn't have one? Why would you gag somebody? Why do you want to keep them shut up about it? I mean, that's just my opinion on that. I mean, that's just, that's why I think more of them knows how they're real. So, what was that? I wouldn't know a Bigfoot bone. That's true. A lot of people probably wouldn't, but it probably is going to be a giant bone, probably human-like bone, but it's going to be a massive bone, I'd say.
Yeah, what Joe here talking about, he wouldn't know a Bigfoot bone if you seen one. That's a great point.
Yeah, great point. It really is. That is a really good.
And Joe's an investigator. I mean, it's kind of hard for somebody that's never been in it. Joe is honest. He gives you his straightforward opinion on this, and I love the man to death because he's down to earth, and he don't pull punches. What he sees is what he tells you, and that's the way it should be done. And that's why I've I gladly talk to both of you guys because you're the same way. You don't pull punches. You don't lie about things. You don't make it sound like something that it's not. And people like this is what we need in this Bigfoot community to figure out what Bigfoot are, where they come from, and sooner than later, it's going to be brought out. Somebody's going to kill one and actually get one out of the woods, and that's just what's going to have to happen. And it's going to be a big bomb when it happens. People across the world are going to be looking, going, "They're what?" And they're going to be mesmerized by the subject, and it's going to mess with their mind.
Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true.
Guys, we've been here for an hour, and I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. Why don't you give us a plug for your next show and let everybody on here, because we got 148 people watching right now, and that's quite a few.
They like my pretty face.
Yeah,
I'm not touching that one. We're going to let that one just kind of fade away and die away on its own.
Yeah,
Dwayne,
I appreciate.
Why don't you give a plug for your show Monday night?
I appreciate that opportunity, Old Bear. Yeah, like you were saying, and like I touched on a little bit earlier, we have our 50th episode coming up this coming Monday, the 9th, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to have Miss Janice Carter on there. She is the 50 years with Bigfoot lady. Her grandfather on their family farm here in Tennessee befriended a Bigfoot named Fox, and she tells the story about growing up basically with the Bigfoot on the farm. And she's had a lot of very, very reputable people. She has a lot of very reputable people in this subject behind her that have been out there, that have investigated the land, that know her and call her a friend. And just from what we've seen, she's the real deal. She will be on Monday night. She told me personally that we are allowed to ask any question that we want. She's not going to hold anything back. So when I say we, I mean all of us. So I would love to have all of you to come and be a part of that episode this coming Monday night. And guys, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button while you're there. Again, we are Mannimal Research. You can see how I spell Mannimal right there. It's Mannimal Research. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We haven't even been doing this a year yet. January will be a year. So before the end of the year, we'd like to be at 1,000. That's our goal. So I'm hoping that you guys can help us to get there. And also, you want to tell them about our giveaway Monday night, Walls, or you want me to do it?
I can do it. Yeah, we're Monday when we're on at 8:30. Wayne will probably start off at 8:30 because I depends on work. I'll get there by 9. We are going to have our very first giveaway, which will be filled with probably a box filled with some stuff. I think one thing will be a necklace that we have. I know we'll have something from Old Bear. A few other surprises in there from one of our other partners that actually was able to give
Mr. Darrell. Owen. Mr. Darrell Owen, saw him yesterday. He gave me a couple of things to include in it. But go ahead.
So tune in. You got to try to be on the show. Be the person. We're going to try to get all the names, and we're going to take all the names down. Write your question, all capitals, same way. We're going to pick out a name, and we'll get together after the show. We'll pick a name out, and that person will get in touch with them, get their address, and in the very next show, we'll actually show and actually tell them who won it, and you'll definitely get a package from us for our first giveaway for our 50th anniversary. I'm gonna say 50th episode. And if it does out good, we'll try to do it again. We'll do it again.
Like Wall said, obviously you have to be there, and for us to know that you're there, we need you to comment something, make a comment or ask a question, so that we know that you're there. And then we'll, after the show, we get a lot of comments during our shows. And Walls and I, we know we're going to be busy, but after the show, he and I will write them all down, put them in a hat, and draw a name, and that person's going to get something from us. And like you said, Old Bear gave us some decals, so the winner's going to get a Old Bear Den of Bigfoot decal. That'll be along with it.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me say this. I always ask this question at the end of the show, and I want both of you to answer this. Is there anything that you can think of you would like to tell people about Bigfoot? Because y'all have been out at night, y'all went out during the day investigating and everything. Is there anything that you want people to understand about Bigfoot?
Go ahead, Walls.
I would say, if you go out and you actually you go out and do research, and just always be open-minded. Use your instincts. If you feel threatened, just like with any animal, back away, move away from the area, give them their space. but also when you first go out there, make sure you go out there with a calm, clear mind. Let them feel the good vibe off of you. Like, hey, we're not here to hurt you. We're here to study you. We want to see you. Let them know. And you may even have a very great encounter. You may not. It ain't going to happen all the time. Sometimes they're going to be nervous and scared not to come out and do anything. And just be safe at it. Just be safe.
Okay, Wayne, your turn.
Yeah, mine is, as far as Bigfoot, listen to your instincts. If that little voice inside of you is saying something's wrong, something's probably wrong. Don't go into an area if you're not comfortable with it. So as far as Bigfoot, yeah, just listen to your instincts, and like Joe there says, don't run. Obviously, yeah, that's good advice too.
Oh, sorry, guys. And I want to thank both of y'all for coming on. We were supposed to do this. It's been a little while back now, and I really hated having to leave you guys, especially when I got home and found out what happened to you guys. That really kind of upset me personally. I think both of you guys are great guys. You're like brothers to me, and I don't want anything like it happening to you guys at all. And this spring, if we go back in there to the same area and that stuff happens again, I'll deal with it. I will definitely not let any type of harm come to either one of you guys. You're my brothers. And that's the way I look at it.
Feelings mutual,
And
buddy.
like I said,
Yep.
and I've tried to been watching the comments about the show. Guys, everybody's super happy with having you guys on here, and it's been a great show. From my standpoint alone, it's been a wonderful show. And my wife has been sitting right over here, and she's got two thumbs up, and I mean she's enjoyed it, and I can't wait to come down and see you guys again next spring. So we need to get that set up, and that way we'll have everything straight and ready to go. And I'll stay in the same campground. And we might have a little surprise for you. We might have a camper in the back of the truck, or we pulling one. This coming spring. So if it rains again like that, you guys don't have to worry about getting wet.
Okay. My thing actually held out pretty good. Poor Janice now. I think they got flooded.
Yeah, that was a miserable weekend right there, buddy. It was tough.
Yeah, you two guys are tough too. So y'all didn't back down, and you didn't back out because it was raining. And I apologize for that, so guys. We're going to if you wait in the back for just a little bit, I'll be right with you guys, and we'll be right with you guys. Just let me close the show out, and then we'll be done. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I hope each and every one of y'all enjoyed this show, and I hope that you got something out of it, and I hope it helps you if you go out and you decide to go out and listen for Bigfoot or anything of that nature. And I hope it gives you some information on what what everybody's trying to figure out about Bigfoot. Um, and as always, we love each and every one of y'all coming. We love each and every one of y'all. And maybe we'll get some more guests on here soon. It's getting close to the holidays. Maybe we can squeeze a show in here and there. And but I'm gonna start putting some more accounts out, and I hope you enjoy those too. And as always, may God bless each and every one of you and keep you safe. Thank y'all for coming. It's been my pleasure. Thank you guys. Oh, and one more thing, Jennifer. I know you said something about the deer in the background. Hopefully, that's a better view of it for you. Uh, I I shot that one a few years ago, and it's here in my daddy's room, and that's where I'm at. It's where my dad always sat, and it's kind of special to me right now, and it helps. All of y'all, stay blessed, stay safe. We love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. Bye bye.